You know, in the past, I've not been shy about sharing my opinions about customizing guns that you're going to carry for self-defense. But apparently I haven't made myself very clear in those videos because some people have a little bit of trouble understanding what I mean. I keep getting emails from people saying, oh, I put new sights on my gun. Does that mean I'm going to go to jail if I use it? Or, oh, I put my initials on my grip. Is that going to mean I go to jail if I use my concealed carry gun for self-defense? Well, no, that's not what I meant at all. In fact, some changes to your carry gun are very benign. In fact, I think there's kind of like 3 different categories of changing your everyday carry gun. Those categories are customizing, personalizing, and accessorizing. Now, to me, the most dangerous of these categories is customizing. To me, customizing means changing how your gun functions, altering that gun in some way, say disabling a safety, changing a trigger, to make that gun function in a way the manufacturer did not intend for it to function. Taking it outside of what the manufacturer said was a safe operating parameter for this firearm. That's customizing, in my opinion. Now, that can be dangerous in several different ways, especially in an accident. If you ever have an accident or a negligent discharge of your firearm and you've altered the trigger to be super light or taking out a safety or disabled a safety, well, you could really be in a world of hurt because now that gun has been made unsafe, according to the manufacturer, by changes you have made to that gun. So if it goes off and you didn't intend for it to go off and you've disabled the safety or lightened the trigger, be prepared to lose everything you own if someone sues you. But it can also have an effect in a self-defense situation. If you've lightened a trigger to where it's very light or disabled a safety and you fire on someone, even under good circumstances, and a prosecutor can convince a jury that you had no intention of not shooting that person, that you were not going to give them the opportunity to stop what they were doing once you drew your gun, you had altered your gun to where it was going to pretty much fire as soon as you put it in your hand because the trigger was so light and there was no safeties, then you could end up going to jail on what would otherwise be a good shoot. Simply because the prosecutor could show that you altered that gun outside of the way the manufacturer said it should operate, and therefore you had no intention of not firing that gun. You had no intention of letting that person cease what they were doing without you shooting them. So as you can see, customizing your everyday carry gun can be a risky business. It's one I don't get involved in. I will not customize any gun that I would carry for self-defense outside of the manufacturer's parameters for what they consider to be safe for that firearm. Now, the next way you can alter your carry gun, personalizing, is not a very risky thing at all. Let's say you've had a child be born and you want to put their birth date and their name or something on a gun. You want to have it engraved on there by an engraver. There's not really any risk involved in that, even if you carried that gun. Say you want to have your initials put on your gun. You're really proud of your gun. You want to hand it down to your next generation. You want to have your name, your initials or something put onto it. There's no real risk involved in that. Now, this is something I will do to my carry guns. In fact, the gun I carry now has been personalized. I actually have an engraving on the back of the grip. A lot of you out there already know I'm a big Prince fan. After he passed away, I had this engraved on the back of my grip. It is the Prince symbol that stands for love, and I put the L and the E on there. Kind of a artistic rendering of the word love using the Prince symbol as my tribute to Prince. And I'm not worried about this at all. There's nothing about this that shows any intent or mindset or alters how the gun works in any way. So there's no real risk involved here. Now, there are exceptions to this. Say I was to put something stupid on the back of my gun, like, something like, Lawbringer or Deathbringer or, I hate Filipinos, and then I actually shoot a Filipino person, well, then I'm going to be in trouble because that actually showed some intent. Like if I wrote on the back there, like, I'm going to shoot the first ugly person I see today, and then I actually shoot someone, and that person's ugly, they're going to be like, you said on your gun you're going to shoot the first ugly person you see today, so therefore we have to believe that you intended to do that when you left your house. Now, there are some gray areas like putting skulls or superhero emblems or the angel of death or something on your grips. While those things can mean different things to different people, they're commercially available. They don't really show any predetermined intent on your part. So they're really not that risky. Any good lawyer is going to have that thrown out of court if someone does try to say that that means you intended to shoot someone. So just use some common sense. Don't put anything on your gun that pretty much says, I'm going to shoot you, so smile and wait for it. Don't put like smile and wait for flash on the end of your gun or, anything like that. Just use some common sense. You'll be safe if you personalize your gun. Now, one thing I will say to people out there that personalize guns, unless it's a gun you plan on keeping for the rest of your life and handing down through your family, don't personalize the gun itself, personalize the grips. I've personalized guns on the actual gun before and I kind of regret doing it. I've got a gun that has a Superman engraved onto the side of the action there, and I wish I hadn't have done that. I wish I just engraved the stock, but that's a lesson learned, so I'll pass on that advice to everyone. Now, the last category would just be accessorizing. That's putting a laser on your gun, a light on your gun, or changing the sights. That doesn't change how the gun operates at all. In fact, the sights are meant to be changed or they wouldn't be designed that way. They're made to where you can change them. The manufacturer knows you're going to alter these sights. They make it to where you can alter the sights. Doesn't change how the gun functions. It just helps you in using the gun. Same things with lights and lasers, etc. I have never ever seen a case of someone getting convicted of a crime in a good shoot because they had too nice of sights on their guns or because they had a light on their gun. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be able to shoot and hit what you're aiming at. There's nothing wrong with being able to see what you're shooting at. You have, the reasonable presumption that you want to be able to hit something if you have to shoot at it and not hit something else. So there's nothing wrong with that. These guns were meant to be accessorized. If it has a rail on it, it was meant for something to be put on that rail. If it has adjustable and removable sights, it was meant for those sights to be changed to suit your needs. So you haven't taken any additional risk when you do that. So that's something I wouldn't worry about at all. Go ahead and accessorize your guns if you want to. If it's on the market and it's something that isn't crazy, use it. If you think it's going to increase your chances of surviving an incident where you're under attack and you think it's going to make you get out alive and take out the bad guy, go ahead and do it. Just don't do something stupid. So in the end, just be conscious of, are you actually altering that gun? Is it functioning differently than it would from the manufacturer? Or are you just adding things to the gun that the manufacturer intended for you to add to help you use the gun more properly? Or are you just making cosmetic changes to the gun to personalize it for you? Then be aware of the risks that come with all of those different things, or the lack of risk that comes with those different things, and make the decision for yourself. But most of all, whenever you're carrying a gun, use good judgment. Act in a way that you think you're never going to have to harm anyone, no one's going to harm you, and if you do have to use your gun, you'll be able to use it in a way that reduces the risk to you and everyone else around you.